Very good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. I hope we will just start the session, and if anyone is joining later, it's fine. So I'm Gokul from CyberDisti. CyberDisti is a cybersecurity focused value-added distributor, and the headquarters is in UAE. The company has founded in 6 years ago, and our CEO is Mr. Jibu John. And we do have our presence across India, Africa, and Middle East. We work with more than 50 plus leading security vendors and support around like 500 plus customers globally. And our main strength lies in delivering integrating cybersecurity solutions with strong technical expertise, pre-sales consulting, and post-sales support. Our goal is not just to sell the products, but we'll be providing the organization to build a complete security strategy to reduce the cyber attacks and to mitigate the attack surface also. So I'll be showing a small AV of CyberDisti. Then we will start with the rest of the discussions.
A single click, a line of code, and suddenly your world under attack. Every 39 seconds, a cyber attack strikes somewhere in the world. Over 30,000 websites are hacked every day. In a world where...
Okay, so today the cybersecurity is no longer an option. So currently our organizations are facing advanced threat such as phishing and ransomware, insider threats, etc. So we will be more focused on the entry level of what all attacks have been there and what are the products which we are going to cover ahead. So currently we are going to talk about email security, MDM solution, data protection, and SIEM solution. So these are the topics will be covered for today. So Viper email security. So the company Viper, it's already been founded on 20 plus years in the email security and DLPs. We do have the most of the cyber attacks. Over 90% of the cyber attacks are through the emails. So ideally that will be the entry point of all the attacks. Since the online or the internal on-premises attack, we mean to have the access to the firewalls, etc. So ideally the email is the easy way to get the attacks done. So why we need to have an email security? So ideally all the email platform which we are using, they have the basic security like the SPF records, the DMARC records, and the DKIM records where the initial securities are already available. So why do we need to go for a product? So that is where we do have the main concern that why a product is needed to secure our emails. So ideally the emails email security has a different kind of current attack vectors like spam, malwares. Everything can be binded in an email with a small piece of code which we won't be able to see, or it will be attached to an image, or it will be attached to a link, or any kind of phishing links can be sent to your email where the person who clicks it, who doesn't know anything about that, they will just click on the link and you will be getting infected. And not only that, it will be infecting the whole infrastructure also. So that is where we have the priority, and things that needs to be protected initially will be the email, where we do have a different kind of email, but they do have EDR, and they do have something called SafeSend where the outgoing emails can be scanned, including the DLP. The basic DLP settings is also available for the same. So what heuristic detection and threat intelligence feeds, all this will be considered on the email security, and which is sending the email to the receiver. And it has a domain similarity where it will be connected with all of the DNS servers, where in that way it will find out that if it's a fake mail or it kind of an genuine email which is coming to the inbox. So for a use case, a fake email pretending to be a CEO asking for an urgent payment or transfer, it detected and blocked before reaching the employee's email inbox. So that is known as the financial fraud and phishing attacks, where it can be blocked using the latest technologies. And we do have, as I discussed earlier, we do have the SPM records, the DKIM and DMARC for the email authentication, the SPF records which validates the sender IP, and the DKIM verifies the email integrity, and the DMARC will be either transferred to the spam or it will be blocked. has all the 6 layers, will be scanning all of the emails and including their cloud infrastructure where they do support all kind of email platform, including Microsoft 365. And sorry. Okay. So all kind of emails have been supporting, including the Microsoft 365 and Google platforms. And we do have different policy and content filters to create a policy to support our Viper email security with the client's requirements. So either we have all the features which needs to be there on the email security, which can be controlled through the filterings and different policies. And they do have the robust reporting where we'll be able to get an initial report and any kind of attacks are there or any kind of email has been put it into spam. We can create a record and we can create a report where we can have all those things factored. And they do have the attachment sandboxing and advanced threat protections. And they do have the anti-spam where, as I said, that if any kind of emails have been landing on the email inbox, before that we will be able to scan and we can prevent the attacks to be reduced. And this is a kind of process that we need to have an initial check with all of the email inboxes with the users. And the users needs to be aware that what all links they are clicking should be genuine or not. So that needs to be trained from the customer side, so that they will be having an awareness that which all email should be linked and what are the preliminary email IDs that they need to check before clicking the link, and what kind of attachment, if it is an fake attachment or if it's an malware which is already attached with the email, they need to know that whether it is a genuine one or not. So ideally that will be checked from the AI engine side, but still I think the user also needs to be aware that what they are clicking, or that needs to be forwarded to the IT team before clicking the link. So that will be a best practice to reduce the attack surface. And data leakage. So they do have a facility where outgoing emails will be able to do a DLP solution where the basic regex what kind of content they are sending in. Will be able to create a policy to get it done for the Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace also. And they do have 3x email retention policies where we can keep the emails accessible for 90 days, even if there is any problem with the renewal of the email IDs or the domains with the platform which currently they are using. And we have their different variants of Viper email security, which has an advanced threat protection with all bundles included. So they do have a virtual sandbox environment where they do have the data, any kind of files or any kind of folders or links have been sent. It will be going to the virtual sandbox first, including the phishing and ransomware. If it's any kind of data or file manager is available on the email, it will ideally figures out or scan the folders first. Once it is considered as not malicious or there is no attacks, then it is allowed to the inbox. So if it is considered as a malicious virus or files or folders, it will automatically block the email or it will quarantine the email. Then the administrator needs to take a look on each of the emails, whether it is genuine one or not. And they do have a online isolation link or sandboxing technique where you can upload the data directly to the phishing link and you can find it out. The scanning engine will automatically find out, run it on virtual environment, and it will find out and say that whether it is an malicious ransomware or phishing attacks or not. Once that is done, maybe we can allow them to go to the inbox. And the Viper email security has different features. As I said, it has behavior analysis and machine learning, where any kind of attachment or isolated version of the environment or file execution is monitored, and the registry changes are tracked. Network behavior is also analyzed. So ideally, the use case will be like any kind of PDF file which is running on a different extension .exe or something. So it will be considered as a ransomware or some. then it will automatically execute it on the web sandbox, and it will detect if any kind of encryption behavior is there, then it will automatically block the email. So it will find out that it's a ransomware file that has been spoofed with the .exe extension, but it's a PDF file or extension application, then it will automatically block the email, and we'll be getting reported for the same. And it does have the URL link isolation where rendering safely without downloading it on our endpoint devices. And if any kind of malicious script or any kind of text document which has a script has been run on the endpoint, it will automatically block initially. After that, checking, and we will be able to allow if it's a genuine one. For example, if you have any user clicks directly a phishing link, instead of opening the device or downloading it to the browser and downloading it locally to the machine, Viper will automatically have a feature where it will automatically take the link to a isolation web box where it has an inbuilt environment where it will be able to run and see and analyze what is happening after clicking or downloading the link. So once that is tested, then we'll be able to see that whether it's a ransomware or it's any kind of a phishing link, or it is trying to get any of our credentials, or attacking the data, or trying to theft the passwords, etc. So that is known as a browser-based attacks, where that will be highlighted using the or blocked using the link isolation technique. AI and machine learning detection, where it has a behavior analytics, machine learning models, and pattern recognition. So if any of the user have a behavior pattern rather than relying on only on signatures, so they do have the polymorphism, verification, and time-based evasion is also available on the Viper email security. And it has the email archiving and continuity, and it do have the spoofing and impersonation also available on email security. So if any kind of emails are stored securely in Viper Cloud and accessible even if the mail server is down. So it has a multiple engine, virus protection and spam protections, and zero-day protection from malicious URLs, and attached with AI and machine learning. So it do have the features where it is connected to the all the security domain links, and it has a daily database update on the Viper servers, that it has all the interconnected emails or what are the current attacks that is happening around, and they will be having a remediation for that. And the signatures, not only the signatures, the pattern is also analyzed, and we'll be keeping the data on the server to analyze the user behavior also. If you have any queries, you can write it on the Q&A session on the chat. I will respond after completing each modules. Yeah, this is where the email attachment sandboxing, how it works. That we do have the cloud email, which is already done, and the input filtering is already configured. And here you can see the threat scanning, antivirus, and anti-malware engine, which is already running on. And it goes for the content analysis. Once you have clicked on the link, it will open directly on the browser, where it will automatically analyze the content, and it will try to run the engine, and you'll be able to see the policy headers and where it is routed from, and you can see if it's quarantined or not, and you can see the attachment, and that is the sandboxing. So once the initial scan and all the things are done, then it will be automatically move to the inbox. So if any kind of attack is already there, or it found out that it's a malicious one, then it will go to the quarantine. Maybe after that, we can either delete the email, or we can block the email IDs and domains, etc., or we can notify the Viper team that we have gone this kind of attack. So if anything comes like this to any of the other customers, we will be able to give them a flag. And the link isolation. So this is where we have the URL sandboxing, where the user training pair. where the URL is automatically logged into the browser protection. And here you can see the phishing URL blocked, and what all contents are there, we'll be able to modify these kind of contents on the blocked email, and only the admin have access to those things. And if they want to give access to someone else also, they'll be able to do that. And we need to have a clear monitoring on all emails daily. And if any kind of emails which is spam, which has landed the inbox, we need to see that why it was landed to the inbox, because they might be uh, the spam email, but it might be came to the inbox because of the initial check. And you'll be able to block those email, and you can block flag as spam, so that the future emails which we are getting from the same email ID or the same domain, which will be flagged on the email inbox, so that they won't be able to get the same email again. Yeah, here we have the link isolation process, where if any kind of email including the URL is sent to the email inbox, it will automatically rewrite the link, where it will automatically take to a separate modified link from the Viper uh, browser itself. And once you click on the link, it will automatically go to the sandbox, where on the destination you will be able to see that the different views. If the site is deemed safe, the user is sent to view the site. If it's blocked, you can see the content as it's blocked, that it's a kind of URL which is malicious, and you can put the feedback for the same. And they do have the non-malicious and deny list sites, which is already available. But yeah, we know that since lots of attacks are happening, and we are getting lots of emails and different domains from different new domains, which has not even been verified. All those things have been used for these kind of attacks and all. And they do have the list of antivirus, and they do have the real-time feeds, where they are getting the intimation that what are the current attacks which is running on emails. And they do have their own database and engineers, where we'll be able to personalize these things, and they'll be sending the remedies for the same, so that before getting attacked, we'll be able to know that what is the current attacks which is going on, and which can be blocked lively on a real scenario. Yeah, here is the blog page link, where on the left hand side, you can see that the phishing URL is blocked, where you'll be able to customize these things, including the warning pages. And here you have the user education key part of prevention, where you can see the video and the best practices to be done to block these pages and create the policies accordingly. And here you can see the exact content. Also, it was actually sending to you that this malicious website is there. You can see the content and what category, what all the link details, etc. Here you can see the preview, the page without being exposed to any kind of threats. It's like a safe view, where you have logged into a different link on a sandboxing. Yeah, so these are the main benefits of Viper email security, where we have the email replay, where redeliver the clean email in 90 days. So if there is any problem with the domain that you have missed to renew, or if any kind of attacks have been done to your domain, in that way also you won't be missing any emails, that the email will be landing to the Viper's email box, and you'll be able to archive it for 90 days. You'll be getting the emails. And if you have missed any emails for 1 or 2 days or a week, you'll be able to retrieve it back, including the message logs and what all emails have been logged in the quarantines. And if there is any oversized data or large download, you'll be able to see that. And we do have the advanced policies, where we have the flexible and power policy control, where you'll be able to scrutinize that what kind of emails are allowed, or only to selected domains you'll be able to send or receive emails for protection. That is also possible. And we have the disaster recovery web access for all the emails for email continuity. And we do have the TLS encryption, where it's an add-on, where all your emails will be encrypted, so that only the end user whom you're sending will be able to see. There won't be any man-in-the-middle attacks, which will be blocked. So yeah, I think that is the end of Viper email security. If you have any queries, you can just put it on the chat. I will just wait for 2-3 minutes. Then we will start with the next topic. Queries, I will start with the next product, which is 42 Gears is an MDM solution. So 42 Gears is an MDM solution where it's a Bangalore-based company. The company was founded in 2009 and they have their headquarters in Bangalore. And they do have their global presence in 195 plus countries. And they do have customers around like 18,000 plus, and they do have supported around like 10 million plus devices. And they do support all devices platform like Windows, Linux, Macs, Android, iOS, iPad OS, etc., Wear OS, etc. So the current products which they are dealing is Sure MDM, Sure Lock, Sure Fox, and Sure Video. And they do have the industry focus on all the BFSI, pharmaceutical, logistics, education, transportation, IT, MNCs, healthcare, etc. So why ideally we need to have an MDM solution? So even there might be a question that even if they have any kind of Active Directory services are already running in, and still do we need to have an MDM solution? Yes, we do have a need of an MDM solution where if the Active Directory can't control any kind of uh, mobile devices. For example, they won't be able to control more on the Android or iOS devices, but we do have assetware which is assigned to the users, and we do have a bulk of things which needs to be processed on, rolled on. We need to take care of the security, we need to protect our data, and we need to support them, and we need to have a remote access, and we need to know where they are moving out. All these can be controlled only if you have an MDM solution with us, including in any kind of OS for Linux or Mac, whatever it is, we'll be able to use these MDM features to protect our data and to monitor our data and to have a control on our data. And if you want, we can have a compliance for the same, and we can create the reportings, and we can have the devices details. All the things will be on a single console, so that we'll be able to have a control on all the devices. It's not only for the company owned device, but on bring your own device also, we'll be able to protect the data using certain features and isolation profiles where we'll be able to do that. So currently what we do have on 42 Gears is that they do mention as an UEM. It's an unified endpoint management where you will be having a single console for all the OS platforms, where you can have all the applications or agent installed on each of the devices, and from there you will be able to create a separate policies and console. So yeah, we can have the details, and we do have a single control, and it does supports cloud software as a service model, and on-premises deployment is also possible. And it do has a feature where for secure the endpoint devices and to monitor and manage the company owned and bring your own devices. And it does supports all the iOS, Mac, Windows, Linux, Wear OS, etc. And which will increase the productivity in the sense you will be able to have a single console where if you have different branches on different parts of the world, and you need to know that what is happening on the devices and what was the activities, and if you want to support them remotely and you don't have any local resources over there, you'll be able to use the tool to get the things done without stopping the work. And we'll be having an hands-on with the devices, and what all logs we have, we can create a report for the same, and we can show to the management that how the things are happening and how we can get the ROI with the same tool. And it is very easy to deploy, and it's very easy to manage all the things using 42 Gears or the MDM solutions. And the main feature which we can explain for the mobile device management is the location tracking, that if any kind of mobile devices have been given to the employees, we'll be able to track the details, including the visibility that if any kind of data is traveling across from this server to this server where they have gone, we'll be able to get that route map, including the time, at what time and how much time they have been done. And if there is any location lost or the device is stolen, also we'll be able to remotely wipe the data using the functionalities. And geofencing, where you have a virtual boundaries and we'll be getting an alert when the device enters or leave the premises. So we'll be able to know that if they are allowed to work only with the given devices on the office hours, if they're taking it to home also, they won't be able to work because we have the geofencing enabled. So in certain policies and companies, they have the this feature needs to be implemented because they don't want the users to work or to take the data out of their endpoint devices, even if they are using at their home. And time fencing, where you can restrict the device usage using any specific time, like for office hours or after office hours, how much time we can use, etc. So that also can be blocked. And we can block any kind of applications which is running on the application running on any of the endpoint devices, including the Windows, Linux, and Mac. And we can restrict the installation also, like what all applications are allowed to install, they won't be able to modify or use it. And we do have an tamper protection also, where the endpoint can be protected because the few users might have the administrator access, but they will be able to uninstall the application. So we have something called a tamper protection, where we can give a separate password for all of them so that they won't be able to uninstall it. So, and other than that, we can include any of the IoT devices also can be installed with the endpoint agent, including the smart TVs, Android TVs. Few of them will be supported, etc. So all the IT assets can be included on the solution. Yeah. So now we have something known as a job profile, where you can create a separate profile for each of the OS or each of the logically you can group different departments, or maybe physically you might have different locations for your company, for an example, that you can create a separate profile, and they might be needed separate applications and things which can be configured. So once you have configured all the things properly, you can add the new enrollment devices to the certain group, so that with the certain profile, so that you don't need to install all the things separately. You can create a separate profile, and where you can create the different application which needs to be installed once the agent is enrolled. So you can create this on a proper way, and which will be easy for the IT staffs to administrate or monitor the things on each of the devices, since we have the facilities like this. And like if any of them have accidentally or wantedly they have installed any kind of application without the IT's knowledge, you will be able to check that what all the application is currently running on, and you will be able to uninstall it from here. That is also possible. And we do have the update file, where if the Sure MDM has their own file manager, where you will be able to send any kind of information to all the endpoint devices or a specific group directly, so that they can access all the data at the same time. If any kind of emergency information or any kind of emergency documentation which needs to be submitted for a certain group for their workings, or any kind of complaints and all, we will be able to do that. And we'll be able to file transfer through the file manager process. And we can have the call log tracking. So that is for the mobile phones, where you'll be able to have an history and audit complaints of the phone calls and what all calls they have received, including the SMS. You'll be able to do that, including for the SMS and all. You will be able to get the logs, including the location and what kind of things are going on, etc. And for the lost mode, for the Android devices and iOS, you will be able to wipe out the data if you assume that the device is lost, and they won't be able to take the data, which can be protected using the lost mode. Here we have the feature for called the App Store feature and the File Store, where you will be able to push the applications on Android or iOS devices, where you can allow only certain types of applications to be installed. No other applications are supposed to be installed without notifying the admin or the users. We can create a separate profile for that, including what kind of applications are allowed. So if they try to bypass or if they try to do also, we won't be able to do that because the Play Store will be under the Sure MDM's control, where they won't be able to download or install any kind of application unless and until it is approved by the IT admin team or the management. And if you want any kind of specific business application like your own company's apps are there that needs to be pushed, that is also possible. That we'll be able to upload our own data, our own company data, company application to the browser. And for much more restriction, we have something called as the Sure Fox, where including the browser controls can be done. So if any kind of applications or websites needs to be blocked, we will be able to do that with the Sure Fox. And we have for the kiosk and all, for example, if you want to play any kind of repeated videos for marketings and all, we will be able to use that for a single app where you can just plug on the videos and you can just switch it on so that only the videos will be playing repeatedly. That is also possible. And as I said, we have the file store feature where you can have a central repository for each of the users to share and manage the data, where they have their own file store. You'll be able to use it. Just click and open the application, you can see the files. So that will be easy for the HR department or for the finance department separately. We can create separate folders and give access for that. Yeah, that is also possible. And these are the key customers which they are already using 42 years. And these are the different variants of software they have, which has a standard, premium, and enterprise, where the enterprise have all the features with 24/7 support. And they do have the features for patch management, which is coming on the roadmap for Windows, and Mac is also on the way. Yeah, so I think we are done with MDM solutions. I will just wait for a few minutes. If you have any queries, I will just clear it out, or I will just start with the data breach. Okay, we will start with the next presentation. Yeah, that's GTB. So GTB Technologies, the company is founded in 2004, and it's an US-based company that they are mainly focused on DLP solutions and information security. And their main vision is to protect the data and to eliminate any kind of third-party access or stealing of the data or the leakage of the data. And if there is any kind of unauthorized access across on-premises, cloud, or off-premises, they will be able to protect the data. And they do have the real-time protection with unmatched accuracy. And they do have different technologies to protect the data, which we are going to see it in the next slides. So enterprise DLP. So the DLP protects data in motion, at rest, and in use across all endpoints. It supports Windows, Linux, and Mac, including the email browsers, USB, cloud uploads, etc. Any kind of employees tries to copy a file containing the PII, credit card numbers, or something that they are trying to transfer to a USB or trying to upload to a Gmail, or they are trying to upload the content to any kind of third-party sites and all, we will be able to block the data on the real time or log the data. So we do have different kind of data leak channels, which I want to explain. So what is not a data leak channel is that if any kind of data which can be taken out of an endpoint, for example, if you're trying to copy the data and if you're trying to put it on a text file, and if you're trying to put it on a if you're trying to put the data on any kind of USB, or if you're trying to put the data on a text document, you are saving it, you're trying to send it through WhatsApp, maybe web chat, Teams, browser, web upload, email, or WhatsApp, Slack, anything, whatever ways you're trying to get out the data, including USB and Bluetooth, you're trying to take a screenshot, you're trying to take a printout, all these are known as the leak channels. So we have the technologies where we can block all these channels so that we will be able to protect our data and we'll be able to safeguard our data. So data in the sense, so we need to have a clear idea that what needs to be protected so that we can focus on that area for certain kind of, for example, if you want to protect the HIPAA for PII, and if you want to protect the financial things, for example, the credit card numbers or any kind of quotation, or the HR department, they want to protect the employee information, or they want to protect the vendor informations, etc. We do have a specific patterns and technologies which will be explained on the foregoing slides, so that we'll be able to know that or what are the technologies we have to protect the data and how we can use it to achieve the same. And data discovery and classification. So ideally we have initially, if you're installing an agent on each of the endpoint, it will run an initial scan to understand that what kind of data are currently residing on each of the endpoint. So after configuring policies, it will be able to understand that what kind of data are currently available on each of the endpoints, and they will be having a metadata of the same, and they will be able to know that what kind of current data are there, and if any data which related with the data protection is there, we'll be able to tag the data. So that is one of the main key features of GTP, where you have the data classifications. Sorry. So we have the data classifications where we will be able to classify the data. So what is meant by data classification? So ideally, we can prioritize the data. For example, we can create the classification as top secret, secret, confidential, general, and personal. So these are the different 5 versions. Ideally, most of the companies will be using, but we can give it a name at whatever levels we need. But the main thing is that we can protect the data using the data classification. So for example, as I said, if we have the credit card numbers or the financial year or the appraisal form or the salaries of the users and all, we can protect the data using the data classification, where you will be able to tag the data. So if that works only with the MS Office suite, so we can, if there you have like a 10,000 lines or 20 pages or 30 pages of the credit card numbers of the employees or their employee details are there. So you are enforcing the document to say that it's unprotected data and it's a top secret or a confidential data that needs to be protected. So once it is configured, we have an automation engine where it can automatically find this kind of data, and it can automatically tag those data on each of the endpoints. It's not to one endpoint. We can do it on the same of the endpoints, because the data will be growing day by day. So ideally, the older data, we already have the data and that is already tagged. So the upcoming data also needs to be tagged on the proper way, so that everything has a clean standard and all the classifications are done on a proper way, which is a standard that everyone needs to be using the same thing. So in that way, we can use the data classification AI engine to automatically classify the data. So that also needs to be an idea that what kind of data needs to be classified on what all levels, and we need to have a track of all the data, which will ensure that there is no way that the data is getting leaked out. For example, if we have the GTP scan running on the file server, if you have an internal file server or a cloud file server, you will be able to classify the data that containing the other numbers or medical records or a source code. And if anyone try to rename it, or they are trying to compress it and they are trying to send it through any of the channels, we have the content aware classification, where it will automatically block the data or log the data. So either ways, we'll be able to know that if any of the data has been moved out of the endpoint or the devices, we have a track that where it has gone, when it has gone, and from who has sent it to whom. And we can get a shadow copy of the data also, what data has been moved on. So ideally, if you have the log facility, or if you think the log is fine for you, that would be fine. Or if you think that data should not be gone out, or we have a facility where it has a justify button, where if you're trying to send a data, you have a justify where you can enter the details like comments, like why you are sending this data and what is the reason. You can send that and then you can log the data. So it will add as a comment saying that for what reason you have sent the data. And AI driven security, in the sense the GTB has an inbuilt machine learning and Gen AI for the user behavior, detection, threats and predictions, violations, etc. For example, if an employee who usually access the HR or any other data, if they are trying to upload any kind of source code or a bulk data upload, the GTB AI engine automatically flags this behavior and at the real time, and it will block the transfer even if the policy is not there. And you can see that you'll be able to see the logs on the data. And if any SMTP email server is configured, you'll be able to get an email notification on the same. So that is where the AI classifies and the correlation of the user behavior and the risk scoring is enrolled. And behavioral fingerprint for each of the devices is also possible. And advanced threat protection. So GTB protects against insider threat, exfiltration attempts, misuse of encrypted or stealthy channels. If an insider uses any kind of encoding to hide the email address in a text file, and if they're trying to upload it to a private cloud or a browser, it will detect and it will block the data. So it will be able to scan all the things which is going through the browser using the SSL TLS protocol, where if any kind of compressed data has been uploaded, and either, as I said, you will be able to block or lock the data. And the policy and compliance, so it does supports GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, ISO 27001, and DPDP policies, etc. So the GTB lets users to enforce where no Excel file containing any kind of PAN or Aadhaar card numbers can leave the organization. Using the GDPR policies or obligations, we'll be able to have a pre-built regex where you will be able to use that to control the data. And the granular control, in the sense you have different types of controls like block, allow, quarantine, notify, encrypt, etc. And they do have the flexible deployment that they support on on-premises, hybrid, and SaaS. And they will be able to integrate that with SIEM solution, where any kind of logs can be monitored, including the GTPs or the DLPs. Monitors also can be integrated with the SIEM solution. And they do support scalable and secure, in the sense they will support up to 100 to 2000 users on the given on-premises one. If it's an on-premises one, that will be the responsibility of the customer to have the scaling done. But if it's a SaaS platform, they will be able to support up to 100,000 data which can be run at the same time. And they do support resiliency and HA. High availability is also available for the GTP, where if any kind of issues have happened to one of your servers, the other one will be up and running at the same time. Yeah, so these are the traditional ways how the older DLP was working, and currently what are the different features or things which they have included on GTP to get the things done to protect the data. And they do have the streamlined deployment, and they do have the low maintenance, and the agent is lightweight. So older it was around like it will be eating all of the resources. So now currently it's a lightweight one, like the EDRs and all, so there won't be any kind of resource utilization much. And they do focus only on the data, so they don't work on any of the other like, for example, if they they won't be able to work on the websites, or they won't be able to block the data, block the websites, and they won't be able to do any kind of stuff. So it's only related to DLP alone, where you'll be able to protect the data. And these are the main organizational things which which we have already discussed, but yeah, few of the things are left out. So intellectual property protection. So GTB prevents the leakage of proprietary information such as source code, designs, products, roadmaps, images, etc. So if any kind of a developer, they are trying to upload any kind of Java file containing a source code, they are trying to transfer to WeTransfer or OneDrive, etc., the GTB detects the content fingerprint and blocks the transfer. So currently, what are the technologies where we will be able to protect the data is that the GTB has regex where the regular expressions we can use to protect the data. For example, if you have any kind of Word documents or email which has a pattern, like for example, if any kind of Aadhaar number or any kind of uh, things are there, so you'll be able to have a pattern that will be find out from each of the, either through the email body, if you're trying to send using the keyword, you'll be able to do that, or if it's a document, you will be able to scan through the GTP engine where it will automatically find out that what is the way to protect the data. And the second one is the data classification, and the third one is the fingerprint. Fingerprint is main thing where if you have already have a huge data for around like 10 to 15 years and all, you have the database or the Excel sheet with you, you'll be able to upload those data directly to the GTB's database, where it will automatically classify those things as important or the top secret data. So these are the three technologies where you can use to protect your data. So we need to have a clear idea that how to use that, and that way we'll be able to protect the data completely. And data discovery, so that is the initial stage of any kind of the agent that, as I said, it will be automatically scanning the data, including your file servers. If you have any database servers, it will run the scan. If you have the endpoint, it will run the scan. If any kind of encrypted file is also there, it will automatically scan. If there is any password protected file, it will notify us saying that there is a password protected file is already available, so that you can see that on which machine you have the encrypted file, so that you can have a look. For example, if any kind of admin wants to know that how many files contains customer PAN Aadhaar across all the file shares or the endpoint devices, they can see that the discoveries and classification them automatically using the data discovery. Data classification and misclassification. So GTP auto tags all the data as per the policy which we have created. So if any of the user trying to misclassify, for example, it's an Aadhaar data, so we have already considered and made it on the policy that Aadhaar cards or anything is coming on these content should be considered as a top secret data. But if any user wantedly misclassify the data saying that it's an normal data or it's a general purpose data, they try to do also, it will override and it will automatically classify the data, reclassify the data to the policy which we have created. And we have on the Word document, we will be able to enforce the classification. For example, the upcoming data which has been already created, it's fine, we have already done the policies. If any upcoming data which is entered day by any of the users, they won't be able to save the data unless it is being classified. We'll be able to enforce that through the MS Office packages. That is also possible. In that way, if they are trying to manipulate the data or misclassify the data, it will automatically say that no, that is not the right classification. It will automatically change that to the confidential data. And endpoint protection and response. If any kind of GTP, for example, any monitors data in use on the endpoint, it blocks the sensitive data from being copied to the USB or clipboard. If any user pastes 10 or 20 or 30 Aadhaar card numbers to a notepad, if they're trying to, they won't be able to paste the data if you're using the copy to clipboard, that it will be blocking, or you won't be able to paste the data unless you're allowed to paste the content. If you're allowed to paste the content, if you're trying to paste, if you want to block it through the upload, that is also possible. And cloud coverage. So GTP supports all the data cloud platforms, Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, and it has a full data DLP, full control protection for all the cloud environments also. you'll be able to use it on the native languages. I think they are expanding those languages also in the future for different countries. And the reportings, GTB offers detailed reports for the policy violations, the current be able to do that. I mean, we'll be getting a notification on the same. Risk management. So the GTB assess the user. It escalates automatically with a high risk score for the SOC investigation. It will automatically notify the user saying that this user is trying to pull the data. Send a notification to the team where the email ID is configured. And they do have the different deployment models and managed services. Yeah. Discussed. And yeah, they do support the cloud and on-premises data security. And they do support the virtual zero false positive, where using the techniques which we have already. Patterns for the workflow, and that can be integrated also. Data discovery and classification, which we have already explained, that automated threat prevention, that is also explained, the real-time monitoring and response, scalable and flexible deployment, seamless integration with SIEM solution and Entra ID. Enterprise suite, data security suite, where you have the central console, the two, and we have something called as the have a TCP scanner where you'll be able to see that what is happening around, and you can have a local discovery that you can run the discovery scan. You can block the USB, the application control. So application control in the sense, if you have any application which was not supposed to be used, you can block the application through the central console. And you have the printer DLP, where the confidential content can be blocked to take the printout. User monitoring, email classification is also available, file classification, clipboard, etc. So once the agent is installed on the endpoint protector, it will automatically, the central console is the main console where you have all the endpoints and the activities have been taken care of, including the reporting, the workflow, the events handling, the logs, the blocks, the policies, everything is happening on the central console. So if any agent is trying to do any of the activities, it will come to the central console. You will be able to see all the things. And GTB inspector is another hardware module where it will be placed on the firewall for the mirror traffic. And it is an agentless thing where it is mainly focused on email and web traffics. So if you don't want to install any agent, but you want to monitor only the web and the email traffics, you can use the GTB inspector. But if you're looking for the endpoint, then we need to have the agent installed on each of the endpoint also. And cloud inspector is the same to the inspector, but it's as a SaaS module. So it has all the things which you need. And they have another module called GTB Discovery Server with OCR. So that is where we have the all the OneDrive or the Google Drive. We can run the discovery server that it will automatically scan for all the upcomings and the whole data. That will be scanning all the things on lively within every minute or so. It will automatically scan, and that will be reported to the central console, where it has all the data on the cloud and on-premises, everything will be factored. Yeah. So the GTB data security policy is intelligent detection and fingerprinting. So fingerprinting, which I have told you earlier, that it has, if you have any existing data which you already have, like a database or any kind of Excel file or something, we can upload it to the GTB engine directly. We can, for example, as I said, the HR records, the financial, credits, legal, healthcare can be, if you already have the, I mean, the customer has the data, we can add it on the fingerprint and we can get it scanned. So scans, the data tagging, DLP solution, the IRM, DRM, insider threat management, everything is included. That's the end of the slide for data protection, GDP. Next, we'll be looking for secure. I will wait for a few seconds. If you have any queries, I will wait. Yeah, we can start. Yeah, so secure. So it's a SIEM solution. So ideally, the SIEM solution means if any kind of data, because we do have like lots of tools are available on each of the infrastructure, including the EDR, the DLP, and you have the infrastructure like servers, firewalls, network switches, routers, access points, including the database servers, the email integration, everything is there. So ideally, if any of these, because they will be having different kinds of logs, and you need to monitor each of them on each of their consoles separately. So if you want to see the firewall logs, you want to log into the firewall and you can see the logs. And if you want to see something on the switch, you need to log into the switch and you need to see the logs, what is happening around. And if you want to do on the endpoint protection, like the antivirus or the EDR, you want to log into their console and see what are the different logs or what is happening around it. And if you want to see on the DLP part, you need to log into the DLP to see all the logs. So instead of getting into all the logs with multiple solutions, we have a solution where a SIEM integration is possible, that all the data logs can be collected to a single console. From there, you will be able to get all the data filtered separately, which will be separately. You will be able to see it for firewall. On the same console itself, you will be able to see it for a switch. You will be able to see it for the database. You will be able to see it for the emails. You will be able to see it for the endpoints, EDRs, XDRs, etc. So all the things are available. So that is where we have the significance of SIEM solution, where you can see it on a single console. So Secure is a product which we are going to discuss on. The regulatory compliance, the organization must comply with certain standards like PCI DSS, SOX, GLB, etc. Where the advanced attacker target for any kind of sensitive data like financial records and IPs, etc. Or any kind of use case, the attacker tried to steal the intellectual property from an IT company, we will be able to know that. So the tool which has an inbuilt facility where we will be able to integrate with any of the third-party networks or application, and you will be able to pull out all the logs to a single console, including the Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, or the cloud or cloud data, or cloud EC2 instance, anything. We can get all those things on a single console. From there, they have their own modification engine where they can see that what all things are happening and how they can protect. If anything happens to the network on internally, how they can block it. All those things can be done. So this is the main second platform where it has an priority, or how it works differently with the other SIEM solutions. So ideally, for the railway sector, the cybersecurity challenges for the OTM and for the OT security, the SCADA, all the things are there. So we do have lots of devices on a network, including the normal IT devices and networks. Not only that, we do have the OT devices and we do have the IoT devices, SCADA devices, everything. So that all can be integrated with the same solution. So Second platform has the AI-driven threat detection and response, where it has the real-time monitoring of all the OT, IT, IoT environment devices. And they do supports the analytics for SCADA, signaling, etc., including the threat correlation. They have all the user devices, user behavior. As I said, for the and DLP, they do have their own policies, playbooks, etc., where you will be able to configure according to the user needs. And if it's a SOC team, they can create this with the initial SOC L1, L2. We can use the automation to do few of the things, and from there you will be able to slowly get on most of the things on the AI platform itself. Yeah, just a second. Yeah, so this has the main flow of the input, like the logs, the flow, the identities, the enrichment, the machine learning, AI response, the user logs in FUML, unusual locations, and we'll be able to see that where it is getting responded and where all the flows is going on, etc. So you have the raw logs here, and you have the flows, and you have the identities, and you have the events and alerts. So here you can see the number of devices which is already consolidated, like from the EDR, EPP, from the data security, the antivirus, etc., the UEBA, the Siemens, so the risk score and the GRC. And all the things are connected on a single platform where you'll be able to see all those things, and which will be easy for to control and easy for to know the 360-degree view of your network infrastructure, the endpoint users and the critical devices. So we have two types of consideration for the licensing part, that what all can be considered as a critical one and what all be considered as an endpoint. So ideally the laptops and the desktops with the personal machines and all can be considered as an endpoint, and the critical devices where we do have the separate features and the functionalities for the same for the routers, firewall, servers, which has a critical data and criticality in the network is known as a critical devices. And here we have the platform where it has the Sera AI, which is geniusly the security assistant, where if you have any kind of queries, or if you have correlated some kind of work, but you don't understand that what is it's saying, or from the layman language, you won't be able to know that. But if you are using the Sera AI, it will automatically create a document where through the data which they have received, or the threat or the critical open alerts which is already shown, they will be able to know that what is happening around, or what is it trying to say, or what is the reason for the same. And they have the XDR, they have the XDR module, EDR module, and the SIM solutions with them. Really focused on the network, and for the SIM, it is mainly focused on the infrastructure, cloud security, etc. And for AI XDR, where you have the for the extended version of detection and response, you can see for the endpoints, application vulnerability, device control, data classification, etc., can be integrated with the XDR, and from there it can be integrated with the SIEM solutions. And we do have the compliance, where we have the HIPAA, NIST, GDPR, SOX, SEBI, etc., can be integrated with the solutions. And we do have the risk management posters and the OT securities. The OT security, we have the industrial control system, SCADA monitoring, OT, the protocol analysis, and the anomaly detections, etc. And these are the comparisons of the AI XDR with the traditional SOC tools. So the traditional SOC L1, L2 is mainly focused on the resources which we have, the rule-based and the reactive one. And using the AI XDR 360, you have the AI-driven and the predictive one. So ideally, we have the AI engine where we will be able to predict, or we'll be able to pre-configure a lot of policies and playbooks. For example, if any kind of hit that happened on the firewall, we will be able to pre-configure, or we will think that this might happen, so we can create the policies and we can keep it ready, so the AI engine already knows if something comes in, it will automatically kick on the policies and it will react to the or it will take decision to the hit happened. So that is where we have precedence over the other tools. And the response time, yeah, as you said, the traditional, the user or the resources need to take care of the correlation data, what happened, when happened, what all device have been infected, at what time it hit. All the things needs to be done. But using the AI XDR, you will be able to know the things much more faster. And here you have the playbooks, where on the traditional SOC, you have the playbooks manually you need to do for all of them. And this one, which is already have the playbooks and things are ready, you can just get the things done just like that. And you have the threat hunting for manual investigation. This, you have the AI assisted hunting. All those things are there. And the false positive is higher for traditional SOC, but this is lesser for the AI one, the same solution. That is the data processing pipeline. So the flow comes like the data through the enrichment and correlated metadata to the correlation one and the alerts and then the response. So if there is any kind of multiple suspicious events combined, that means if you have any kind of 3 or 4 persons have the same issues and complaints, it will automatically consider that as an attack. Then it will automatically showcase the things or alert the user who is using the console. So they do have the stage one, that it has the main endpoint devices with the EUBA and the intrusion detection system. Then they do have the AI engine where it will notify the user. So this has the pattern where we can see the security orchestration, where we have the comprehensive visibility and the proactive threat detection and the threat containment and elimination. And here you can see the what are the different domains and versions of things have been considered on this pipeline, data pipeline, including the DNS, the vulnerability of the data, the database, the threat intelligence, the EDR, XDR, cloud, firewall, IAM, Windows, Linux, Macs, network, SIEM, everything is considered on this one. So we have a full-fledged platform where we'll be able to know that the network infrastructure 360-degree, that what all things are happening on the network. So this is the AI-powered XDR platform, where you have a single platform where it can handle all those things, including the SIEM, the security orchestration, EUBA, network behavior analytics, traffic analysis, vulnerability configuration and management, dynamic threat intelligence, intrusion detection, prevention, ML, AI, EDR, asset management, and compliance also. So we do have the single platform where it can handle all the things. Multiple security tools. We don't need multiple security tools for each of them, which can be integrated with them on a single one. So we have the XDR, that how it works. Yeah, it has a input. We'll be having the raw logs, the users, I mean the routers, switches, the infrastructure. Then you have the endpoint devices. Then you have the cloud analysis. Then you have the security and event system, etc. will be triggered. If any suspicious activity detected, the system automatically block the activities. So where you have the Secion's engine for machine learning, threat intelligence, auto remediation, real correlations, and security analytics. Visibility that what all things are there, what is happening. And here you have the proactive threat detection and the continuous complaints and reportings. So this is how it works. So we have all the raw logs with us, that is integrated with the same solution. We have all the routers and switches, which is also integrated with the same solution. So whatever things are there on your infrastructure, everything is integrated with the same solution, so that it can correlate all the things. So if anything happens on the endpoint, what it does is that it will automatically see that when it happened at, so it will automatically send an auto remediation to the endpoint to block the data. So it will automatically isolate the endpoint devices, so that any kind of attacks is not spreaded across the network. Then it will block the Wi-Fi access. Then it will report the same to the firewall. Then it will report the same to the switch, so that the switch will isolate the device, so that it won't get internet connection and the LAN will be blocked. So the data won't be flown out to the infrastructure. So that is how the automation works. And this is the deployment architecture. That the different ways to deploy. If you have your own Amazon AWS server, you can install the CC. CC is known as the collection server, where you have the collection logs. And if it's an on-premises, you need to provide a server where the CC installed. It's a Rocky Linux application where all the application server, the Active Directory, the VMware, the L2 switch, laptops, everything will be integrated to the CC server, and that will be redirected to the console. So that is where we have all the access to the data, and we can see what is happening around the network. And that can be installed in any of the third-party cloud platforms, or if you want a software as a service, that is also possible. Yeah, I think that is the end of the slide, and thank you everyone for joining the call and waiting till now. And if you have any queries, you can ask. Yes, Viper supports API deployment also. So any kind of platforms, including for example, the GoDaddy or any kind of third-party email servers also will be able to integrate. Yes, that is possible. Any battle card with other solutions? Yes, we can give. That is fine, and we can. How the Sequence? Okay, so for the Sekion, as I said, that it is mainly for the integrations of all the devices on a single platform where it has and it supports the reduce MTD, and MT TR is also possible with the different features and functionalities they have. If you're interested, we can get into a call in future so that I can explain you the things with the demonstration also. And it does supports, it does has the AI and ML where it helps to correlate the data with no time rather than doing the manual things around. But yes, as you said, we do need to have a keen control over what all things are happening on the network and what kind of predictions that we are making, and we are creating the policies according to that works. Yes. Existing SOC provider, what would be the benefit that would compile such as SOC operations? Okay. So before that, I think for the SOC solutions, yes, we can provide them secure solution, but need to know that currently what are the SOC solution they are having, and if they are facing any challenges, and we need to see that if Secure supports to overcome that, then that would be the right way to support them with the solution. And we can give a POC for them, and they can do a test with all their use case scenarios, or at least to 50 to 60% that what they think that which is a roadblock for them. In that way, we can help them out to understand that, and we can showcase a POC for them. Definitely. More information and use these details of deploying secure platform to industrial setup. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, as per the explanation which I have already given, it supports on all deployment scenarios. So specifically, if you are looking something, then we can take it further on through official call. We can have a call, and we can get the things done. Yeah. Any other questions? For battle card, I will check if we have anything directly with the H node. I hope there is no other queries, and you can reach out to us. Maybe I can. Hi, thanks everyone for joining the call, and yeah, I will contact you in person to speak more on the queries which you have raised, and we can take it further. And thank you all, and have a good day.